Welcome, everyone.
Made it.
Caleb,
I'm in here.
Caleb, thank you for taking the time to be with us here tonight. I very much appreciate it. Hey, I deal with them on a daily basis, so it's all good. Before you were on, I had to spend one of your songs just fucking with my green screen, being like, "What? Why? Why? It's even worse than it was last week." So, how have you been?
I've been good. We've been able to relax a little bit. The touring slowed down a little bit, so we've been doing good.
Hell yeah. Queen Lizzie says, "Hey friend, miss you."
Miss you too, Queen Lizzie.
Anyone in the chat, please feel free to leave any questions below. You know, those that have tuned in, you guys kind of know how the interview goes, Caleb. We're going to have some fun because I like to go in kind of blind. Like, I know a bit. But it's like, I want to see where the conversation randomly goes, because if I find something interesting that may have already been covered once before, I might just fixate on it, and I want to see how things go. But to start things off, introduce yourself to anyone who may not have heard of you or is watching for the first time. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, for anybody that's watching for the first time, I am Caleb of Promises Unsaid. I claim vocals. I do a lot of other stuff behind the screens, like instrumentaling and stuff like that. But yeah, we've got a full-length album out, 5-song EP before that, and we're working on getting our second album out now. So
hell yeah! I see you guys just dropped. Now. I see you guys dropped. How do you spell? How do you say the new single? Because I was looking at your
Umami.
Umami. Okay, because I know.
Umami, yeah.
I knew about Mindplay dropping, 9 months ago now. Geez, time is just this year. But I didn't realize you guys dropped a new one. So that was really cool. We checked that out. And I got to say, you got a really, really slick, clean voice. Because we checked out your live video that's up there too. And you keep that, man. I got to say, that's really cool and really impressive. Because I know a lot of clean vocalists, as one myself, like, sometimes hitting that same consistency live is difficult, but it seems like you really got that figured out.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I, same as every other vocalist, struggle some days, sickness, and, sometimes you just don't put on your best performance every time. But, yeah, I've refined my skills a lot over the last year or so, and I feel like I've put a lot of effort into it. So it's good to see, results.
Hell yeah. No, you gotta, something about just the cleanness of that, like, really high, like, natural range you have. It's really cool because a lot of vocalists can try to just hit that range and find it difficult to even maintain a few notes. It seems like you just kind of live there, and that's really cool. It suits the band.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's like previous years watching back live footage, I feel like I couldn't even watch it. You know what I mean? But I don't know, lately it's been like I watch back at our live footage and it's, something I'm proud of. And
that's
it's nice
cool
to be able to walk off stage, reflect, and be proud, and not really judge yourself as hard as you did once before. So
that's really cool. And actually that allows me to ask, it's cool hearing that you at least watch back your stuff, because I know a lot of people, they hate that. Like, just, no, I don't want to see it. I'm good. And for you, because I know you mentioned, like, not judging yourself too hard was a big thing, but what were some things you found yourself having to overcome when you first started watching yourself to now? Because obviously you've seen growth, but there's also growth in how you analyze yourself.
Well, I mean, everything takes everything. I watch everything because, I mean, I take it the same way as a football player would rewatching its games. You know what I mean? You're a performer. You want to create the best performance, and you want to better your performance than the last time you played. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when I first started watching live footage, like, obviously I was excited that I was doing it, but I was definitely, like, a little bit embarrassed in how it sounded. So, after years and years of getting better and watching yourself and, kind of critiquing yourself, seeing what you can do better, what you're not doing, and you just kind of overcome it. Like, after a while, it's like all this stuff that I'm scared of, like being on stage, all this stuff that being on stage, engaging with the crowd, all that other stuff that I'm scared of, kind of washes away because it just becomes second nature, you know?
Definitely. I like that you use the sports analogy too, because like for football, for me, I use basketball a lot because that was just my athletic background way back. But I found using that in a healthy way, which is basically how you described it, can actually be really beneficial in self-growth as long as you understand, hey, it probably sucked. It's probably going to be embarrassing as hell to rewatch some of this. But also, if I just keep an open mind, I can maybe keep an eye out for a few things I can work on, refine, do better without being hard on yourself. Because I know that's a hard thing for a lot of people, looking back on something, especially if they know they fucked up and just hyper fixating on that instead of being like, hey, the other 90% of it was pretty good. Just got to like tighten a few screws and you're set, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Hell
So
yeah.
once you find like a performance you're proud of, do it again. Do it better. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Cody from Eco Break says he has to peace out. Caleb, sir, come back to Ohio soon. Okay? Okay.
Fuck yeah. We'll be back ASAP.
And Lizzie wants me to ask about this, and I almost forgot about this because it's something I wanted to go to. How was the local band Smokeout Festival this past summer? What was that all
fun.
like?
So it was a fucking ride, dude. Getting out there was the hardest fucking part, and then getting back was another track. Utah is not a state that I'm a fan of, and I don't think anybody in the band is a fan of.
Fair enough.
We overheated in Utah probably like 20 times overall. That was a long stretch there. But once we got to the festival, it was all good vibes. All good vibes.
That's good. Sorry.
My girlfriend and my cousin Chris flew over to Cali to see us at the festival, so we ended up staying in the hotel that was on base with them. And we had a great time. It was so fun. It's fun to meet BG, fun to meet Lizzie.
That must have been really cool to meet them again, or meet them for the first time, because I've only ever known them as cool people on the other side of the screen, So
yeah, for real.
It's cool seeing that they pulled that off, but also like bands from like as far away as from you are from their location, we're all able to kind of come together and be a part of that, because I'm really stoked that he finally pulled that off. I know it's something he's been wanting to do for
sure.
years.
I'm glad we could pull it off for him too. So
hell yeah. The drive must have been a fucking pain in the ass, just because you guys are New York. I'm trying to remember my geography. Like, you guys are fairly close to the East Coast, right?
New York is East Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we are probably 3 hours away from like just the coastline itself.
Okay, so you just basically went the entire continent.
Yeah,
oh, jeez.
We drove all the way over. We went all the way to Venice Beach just so we could say we touched the other ocean.
And I'm guessing you would do it again.
Oh, 100%.
Fuck yeah.
There's a pain in the ass. Maybe we wouldn't do it again in like a week span. Do you know what I mean? Because we drove there and maybe like the whole month, maybe. But just a week. That was wild. I don't know what the fuck we were thinking.
Hey, the experience must have been like 1 in a million for that too. Just the time spent in the vehicle, and B, the actual festival itself. Kat, can you doing a show? Sorry about that.
Trust me, mine will be up here in probably 30 minutes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to remember, because last year around this time I had Edjo Bell on, and if I'm not mistaken, he was in Promises Unsaid way back when, or am I out to lunch here? I'm trying to remember. I feel
No, you're correct.
Okay.
So our first EP, Edjo actually wrote most of the lyrics too. I actually didn't really have too much lyrical influence other than really the choruses. And then all of the songs we had already played live, so I figured it was kind of, not my right to change them completely
Yeah.
for all of the people that, we've played live with that have heard our stuff. So I kept the lyrics pretty much the way they were for most of the songs.
That's
Like
really
Waves, Tides, and
respectful.
Oceans, One in the Chamber, Close but No Cigar, and Nothing Lost in Transition. Most of them. Most of those are actually his lyrics.
That's really cool. That's
But the
really
Sales was the first
respectful.
song we ever did by myself, though. So I'm proud of that one.
Oh, yeah, as you should be. I remember that one. That was a really solid one. I remember, I know he and I glossed over it a lot, but hearing you say, no, I kept a lot of this stuff, and that's really cool because that's kind of a coin flip when you have a vocalist change in even if it's just in position, like a backing vocalist going to front vocalist or someone else coming in. And that's really cool too, because it allows you guys to pay respect to an era as well and the groundwork that was laid, while also then being cool, and now we can evolve. It's now on to just what do we do based off that footing and groundwork. With that, what was it like for you then once you got that first song and then started having to do a lot more? Because I remember you mentioned at the start you do a lot of instrumentation as well behind the scenes. So I'm really curious about all of that.
So, actually, I didn't really start playing guitar until I was already in Promises. So I learned a lot of, everything through Promises and with Promises. So, when we first started out, we had, I think, 7 members, something like that. It's crazy. We had a member for everything, and then it dialed down to 5 members with me and Edjo fronting, and then Edjo had quit, so it dialed down to 4 members, and then the 4 members is what recorded that EP. It was me, my bassist Steve, my guitarist Zach at the time, and my drummer Adam, who's still in the band. And we kind of just played a bunch of local shows. We played out some cities. We not that far. I think our furthest show at that time was 2-3 hours away. Nothing super crazy. But we kept trucking. There was a bunch of, as bands kind of grow, they go through drama and all that other stuff. So we definitely went through that, saw our fair share of that at the starting out. And then we were down to a 3-piece. It was me, my bassist Steve, who had moved to guitar, and then even Adam had been done at that point, at one point. And I had a drummer named Cam in the band. And it was us 3. We toured for a little bit. And then they just kind of fell apart again until we landed on the lineup that you see today with Jaden, Alex, and Adam. Everybody's putting in. Everybody's a band, and it's the building blocks that took us here.
Yeah,
that's all. It's all foundation to the house.
100%. And with that too, it proves that you guys can work through adversity, because even if, say, you have individuals that come and go from the project, you still have a vision for what you want it to be, and you're allowing people that want to be a part of that and help reinforce that and grow it and strengthen it with you. Come when they need to. You're letting people come to you, or even if you're seeking them out, you're letting the project continue on and finding the right fits and letting, I guess, time tell and see how everything works, which I think is something a lot of bands, I'm not so much sure what it's like being in a bit of a large area. I know in smaller areas, that's a hard thing for some bands to get over, because they only see so many musicians in the possible pool of who could fill roles. But are all your members local to you, or are any of them kind of just a little bit out of town from
No,
each
we all
other?
live. So we all live pretty much within 20 minutes of each other. Me and my guitarist Jaden live within 5. My drummer Adam's probably the furthest one out towards Windsor, New York.
Okay.
That's still like only 15, 20 from me. And then
Nice.
because Binghamton's not a big area at all, but it's like got little towns around it. So
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff in places nearby that you can kind of go to.
yeah. Nothing like the West Coast where you drive for miles and see absolutely nothing but desert. Like,
oh, it's crazy up here, man. It's like it's crazy. 3 hours to get to the next city, another 3 after that to get to the next one, and then when you get through the Rockies, cool, about 8 hours till the next about decent
8 hours
place.
to the next roughly.
Yeah,
that's if you can maintain the speed limit.
Exactly.
Which is like 90 miles an hour. Not something light.
It depends on the area, yeah. I was actually wanting to ask too, because you mentioned like the furthest maybe was gig was maybe 3 hours, and for some of the Canadian viewers, if they're in here, for us, we're like 3 hours. What? That's the minimum for us up here. What the fuck? What? So like, what is it like scene wise? Like, what are the options that you, I guess, have, whether it's locations, venues, like how many shows in your area can you kind of get away with playing based off population density? Because I definitely think that's it's an interesting culture shock between the American music scenes and the Canadian music scenes, where it's like, as a Canadian, we look down and be like, fuck, it'd be cool if we could have like a bunch of small communities like everywhere that we could go. Man. Yeah. The north of the 49 kind of sucks sometimes. You know what, guys?
Yeah. I feel that. The New York life's not that bad, like as far as touring wise goes. You could hit probably 5 different cities if you wanted to, all in New York in one weekend, and have a show pop off at each one probably. Because like Rochester's got a great scene, Albany's got a new scene. We got a good scene in here in Binghamton. Poughkeepsie's got a decent scene, and all of those are within like 2 hours from us. So
what I'm hearing is
literally a mini tour and go home and sleep if we wanted to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, so what I'm hearing is Canadian bands. We got to figure out ways to, I know it's difficult, but get those work visas in order and just plan a bunch of mini tours. Maybe message a band in the area, be like, hey, we backline some shit, save a little bit on that flight ticket so we can come on over. Cool, let's fucking do this. Because that's really cool. To be able to have all of those resources and scenes at your disposal. And it's really cool seeing a lot of like the bands from the New York or the California or any of the like areas where we know there's huge population density, and being like, man, that just seems to force you guys to work that much harder too, because the quality that comes out is
definitely
stellar.
makes you work harder. I mean, you see a lot of bands like around you, so you know what the competition and speak is, and music is not a competition, it's an expression by all means.
Mm-hmm.
But there is still like a competition aspect to it, because regardless, you're still trying to do what everybody else is doing, the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, the only way to really get there is just to be a community and be a scene ourselves. Like people want to see musicians supporting musicians. It's human nature. Look at all of the acts that we grew up on, like fucking Jay-Z and Linkin Park. You know what I mean? They did that whole crossover. Musicians supporting musicians. That was huge. You know what I mean?
The other one I think of too that I don't think a lot of people remember, but behind the scenes they were tight and used it to their advantage. But Slipknot and Limp Bizkit, they feuded with each other because they knew it would work, and we're just like, hey man, let's hype each other up. Let's just fucking go at it. Fuck it. We're the grotesque bands.
Exactly.
I love that you brought up competition too, because I find that always gets brought up in some way, shape, or form. And I find a lot of people either one way completely disavow competition in any way, shape, or form, which is healthy, I will say. and others kind of be like, no, like there's healthy competition and there's unhealthy competition. And
I think that there's very healthy competition and very unhealthy competition.
yeah,
It all has to do with like how you handle the competition, really. Like if you see a band that just blows you away at a show and you're thinking, man, fuck these guys, they're fucking doing better than me. That's no way to fucking think.
no.
But if you see some band that's doing better at you a show and you're like, holy fuck, dude, I got to work with these guys or talk to these guys or network with these guys, get more shows with these guys.
Or if you're up
Boom,
next being like, I gotta
that's
fucking
creating
bring it.
community, and that's better. That's instantly better, and you're networking.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think more people need that mentality because for me, when I see a band that kills it, maybe once in a while, if I'm watching someone playing their instrument and I'm just like blown away at what they're doing, like, how the bloody fucking hell are you? Okay, well, you exist. That's interesting, but
Yeah.
But like playing shows, if you're on a bill and you see this band like first up that just fucking kills it, like I always use that as fuel to the fire, being like, well, shit, they set the pace. It's let's keep it going or ramp it up. We only have two options. We can't slow it down now.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta fucking ramp this shit up. Let's go. Let's destroy this shit.
Exactly. It feeds, and everyone feeds off it. We're a very metal and different forms of alternative music is very energy-based music. So if you constantly feed that fire in positive ways, man, it's amazing what the fuck can happen.
Yeah, man. Especially if you can get people wanting a sequel.
Yeah.
Icing on the cake.
Damn straight. Lizzie had me intrigued, but I wanted to get through a few questions first. But there's a hip-hop project, I hear.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. There was one at one point in my life. Back when I was like 19.
Really? So, no, I'd
Yeah,
love to hear about that.
So, I used to rap as Big Black Lion back in the day. Back when I was like 19, straight out of high school, I got into that's when I first started making music. And I had a buddy that I met at the skate park. We recorded out of his trailer in a trailer park. Recorded my first EP ever with him on it. And from there, I brought Edjo there. That's when me and Edjo started making music together. And then me and Edjo started making our own project. I was still under Big Black Lion. He was originally A-Star Paradox.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we kind of got old with the rap just because we were doing it all the time and we weren't really getting like much feedback for it. Mm-hmm. Like we had played one show, I think, together.
Okay.
It's called Chest Fest. Yeah, I remember that. It's called Chest Fest. The only hip hop show I ever played was Chestnut Street Festival. Chest Fest is what it was called.
Hey, only show was a festival though.
Hey,
hey,
I'll take it.
Hell yeah, that's cool. Hearing about you and Edjo kind of going back that far back. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you both start Promises together then, or was it kind of like one did and the other came in?
No, we completely started Promises together. It was Warped Tour 2015, I think, that we actually decided to actually start the band and actually put it in motion. So we went to Warped Tour 2014, and then when we went back to 2015, we were like, yo, this is what we want to do. Fuck that rap shit. Fuck that hip-hop shit. This is what we want to do. Let's start a band.
There's something about Warped Tour.
I was like, let's do it, man. I've always wanted to start a band ever since I was in middle school. Like, I've wanted to be a part of a band, and nobody's ever like accepted me. So let's do this.
I love that Warped Tour is the inspiration because I miss it. The 2012 Warped Tour is what grabbed me. Like I drove from where I'm at in Canada to Seattle to check that out, and I didn't last too long in college after that. That was the right thing and the wrong thing to do at the same time, depending on whose perspective you're looking at. But I love that things like that inspire things, because then going back to geez, I almost said alt waves for a second. I was going to say local band Smokeouts Festival. That kind of can help foster the same thing. Because again, it's really cool having bands all the way from the New York area and everywhere else kind of coming in on one location under that banner and hanging out, playing music. I checked out the videos and live streams when I couldn't. It looked like everyone was having one hell of a time. And I can't wait to see what the next version is, because as that stuff grows, people like yourself and your project and other people surrounding it, you kind of like, you'll all kind of grow with it in a way, like as
100%. That's what people don't understand is when you create a community, the community grows together. The reason all the bands that we're looking up to right now made it is because they were a part of a scene that was there before we started in the scene. See, now we're starting in the scene. You start fresh as a band. It's not like you just hop on to the band at the same level of the band that you're looking up to. There's a lot of hard work that's gone behind that you don't see. So I guess that's kind of what we've had to kind of how we've envisioned stuff, I guess.
100% right. I keep like trying to keep the mind back as you say something good. I'm like, I want an explanation point that, oh, no, more good shit. Fuck, stuttering over. But 100%, and it's like the natural evolution of scenes as well. Back in the 80s, a bunch of like how the thrash scene started was people traded tapes. Yep. That was how that entire thing went around. Then in the 90s, we kind of had the Much Music, MTV kind of movement with everything through there, into the 2000s and TRL. And then we got into the YouTube era where it was like music videos, and now we have other forms of social media. But the main point is it's online now, which means it can be far bigger, far grander, and the reach can be far more.
No clue where your music's going to end up. I mean, and Spotify tells you, I guess, like the countries it's reached and whatnot, but like, it's crazy to even think that like it played in a different country. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's not even the number. Mind. The number doesn't even matter. Just seeing like the different countries and be like, dude, someone in fucking Germany checked out my shit. Fuck yeah. What's that been like for you then as a musician, going through this entire transformation and maturity, I guess, because you've been doing this a long time then, starting at 19 with rap, starting Promises with Edjo, going through the fun that was the pandemic. We'll add the fun on there because it was not fun for anyone. But what have been the main things you've taken away from this journey? Not necessarily just musically, but just as a musician and a performing artist as well, because there's, like you said, there's so much more that encompasses what we do aside from singing into this little thing once in a while. Yeah.
Especially nowadays, I mean, I guess with like social media and everything, you can message your favorite band's lead singer, guitar player. You know, there's so much like access to the world and the internet nowadays, and that's one of the hardest parts to keep up on. But I guess what I have taken from being a musician and doing this is it's a lot fucking harder than I thought it was. Like, if you think you're gonna go in and just rock shit and everybody's gonna follow you and everybody's gonna want to be a part of your scene, you're wrong. Yeah, not everybody vibes with the same vibe, but on the same note, you know what I mean? Put yourself out there. You never know. There are now 8 billion people in this world. Somebody's gonna vibe with your music. Somebody's gonna like your style. Somebody's might even get changed by your music. You don't know. The realm of influence is extremely vast now with how far a single track can reach. Whether it's one person checking it out or a lot, like, it still blows my mind. Like you said, anyone can check out your music from any country, but like on top of that, who knows what that may have done for that person as well, especially if they come back and return and reach out in any way.
I guess on that, have there been any moments of you kind of getting that, I don't want to say unintended, because I think what we do as musicians is we put stuff out with the intention of connecting in some way. We're in an era now where we have to get used to possibly getting that reception back far quicker and in a far more personal way. Like some can, like you said, just jump in your DMs and be like, hey man, just want to let you know, thank you. That this XYZ meant a lot to me, and I just wanted to reach out and say thank you. Keep doing what you do.